The core truth of who we are is beyond our title, it's beyond our labels, it's beyond who we think we are at our job, who we think we are in our relationships, how people treat us. They might treat us well, or they might treat us badly. Certain people might treat us in different ways. We may have things we're good at and things we're not so good at. And all these things in this external world starts to make us have a feeling of our sense of worth as people. And so when things are going well for us, we may feel a strong sense of worth as far as, I'm wealthy, I have all these things, and there's nothing wrong with appreciating what you have, the abundance that you have. But the issue here is the attachment to the things that you think you are, whether they're positive or negative. Now, it's really the negative ones that bring the most direct suffering, but the positive ones, being attached to a expectation, having a belief system that you should be at a certain place, having a belief system that people should treat you in certain ways, having a belief system that certain things should happen. Those are all things that aren't the truth of reality and then make you suffer. Now, the core thing here is that we derive our sense of worth and we derive our sense of value based on all these external things, and ultimately that leads to a feeling of not being enough, a feeling of not being good enough, a feeling of needing to do more, be better, and do better. And because we're programmed this way, there's this constant striving and seeking and needing to be somewhere else other than here and now, which is the present moment. The here and now doesn't care about what's happening in the future, and it's not concerned with what's happened in the past. It's simply content with the abundance of what's arising spontaneously and naturally in this moment right now. And so there's this appreciation, and it's the ultimate appreciation because everything that you can experience in that moment is experienced fully in its entirety. And so when you are experiencing the painful emotions, you sit with those emotions and you give it space to be comforted, just like you would comfort a child, and give it space. On the other hand, when you're experiencing joy or bliss, those experiences are experienced fully without withholding them from yourself, without saying, I'm going to be happy when I get XYZ, when I get the money, when I get the job, when I get the relationship, when I get certain people to perceive me in certain ways. And so the feeling of not being enough is in my opinion, the biggest thing that people face. It's the feeling of conditional love, that they have to do things to be loved, whether from other people, whether from the universe, or whether from themselves, right? And most of all, it's what's arising in ourselves, that withholding of that love to ourselves, that's the thing that pushes us the most to strive to journey into the future or be paralyzed by the past. And so what people really are seeking is to be loved and to love unconditionally. And I think this is what Jesus, the Buddha, all these prophets taught, was that idea of unconditional love. And they taught it through various different formats, and this whole spiritual path is a journey into that by finding out your true self by letting go of the self you thought you were, by examining who you think you are. And when you can let go of what you think you are, the true self emerges. As Frank Yang said in one of his videos, when you find yourself, the self disappears. Or he said it the other way around, maybe. I think he said, when you find the no self, you find your true self. And in Buddhism, it's all about realizing that there's no solidified, solid sense of self, of who we think we are. That it's this kind of continuous arising, and that we are beyond any sort of labels of this is me, this is who I think I am. It's all dependently originating from different causes and conditions, different things that are arising. And so going back to that unconditional love that we seek, we can start to give ourselves that by letting go of the need to control our reality, to need things to happen in our lives, and we can put more trust in the universe or God. This might sound woo-woo to you, but if in a pragmatic sense, think about it like letting go of the belief system you have towards something. And when you can let go of that, you stop suffering in that direction. For example, you might have an expectation that certain people should treat you in certain ways, and when they don't, you get angry or frustrated. You may be correct in your understanding of them, or you may not be. Doesn't really matter. The key is you're suffering right now if you're in that scenario. And it's because of the belief system that you're holding, the belief system that's not helping you, not helping them, not helping anybody. It's a belief system that I can use anger to get what I want. I need to use anger to ensure or need a certain outcome. I need this to happen. And so it's a non-acceptance of the other person to be completely how they are. I'm not saying you have to be in that situation. You can walk away. But the key here is that suffering. The suffering element and the belief system that certain things should be in ways that they're not, which causes a sense of not accepting life. But you might say, okay, if I don't have this, if I don't use suffering emotions, because people often use it, in work, you get addicted to the feeling of the rush of, pushing yourself to work hard and get things done, and deadline and stress energy. It's actually an addictive chemical that's created because it jacks up your system, and it's like caffeine. It's like adrenaline. It's like having a coffee almost. You a little bit get that stress energy. You get some frustration, and you're feeling like, oh, I need to fill some void. I need to feel something in me. It can cause addictive tendencies and behaviors. And so if that's how you've been conditioned, you might think, well, that's the best approach, right? Because it's really common. That's what we do, and that's almost how I lived so many years. But the key is diving into. The key is to realize that you can work in a state of effortlessness. You can let go of the need to succeed and achieve something and still be working and still be achieving great results. In fact, when you can master that paradigm, when you be in that paradigm, things really start to shift for you. Things just start to work out better. And so this goes into energy. We all have a certain vibration energy that we put out into the world. Now, when you are utilizing a lot of stress and a lot of agitation and a lot of energies that aren't helpful, you can think of it like clouds or smoke that's obscuring your view. It's not only obscuring your view, but as you walk through it, the smoke is heavy. It's pulling you back. It's like a wind. It's like a gust of wind, smoky wind in your face, pushing you and holding you back. So when you realize the energetics behind it, that can also start to move you into that awakening of, why am I doing things in certain ways? Questioning the amount of discontentment that you have through your life. Going back to what I said earlier, this comes all from the feeling of not being good enough, which comes from the feeling of not accepting everything that is,